As I said, there is a shirk that is jali. A shirk that is jali, and namely obvious, direct, clear. And that is when the motivation again, the burst inside of my qalb before the initiation of the action is other than Allah Azza wa Jal. That is jali, shirkun jali. And we're talking again about here within the context of Islam, within the context of being a Muslim. We're not speaking of a mushrik, a person who rejects Allah Azza wa Jal and associate partners with Allah Azza wa Jal. That is not our talk here today. Our talk here is within Islam. A person is a Muslim, but the action of a Muslim is characterized sometimes by either absence of ikhlas totally or partially. And for that we have to be very careful. Now, that is a shirkul jali or al-ishrakul jali, is when, again I repeat, the original or the initiating burst inside of my qalb is other than Allah Azza wa Jal. Number two, a shirkul khafi, the less obvious shirk, or the tacit one, or the hidden shirk, if you will. What is this other hidden shirk that contaminates our actions and therefore would render our action as no action, totally or partially? And that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam calls, he defines it and he says that is ar-riya. Ar-riya. Ar-riya from ra'a originally, but ra'a yura'i riya'an. That is when a person, he or she does something and does it and desires to be seen. And desires to be seen by others. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam calls shirk, and he calls it shirkun khafi, the hidden shirk, because it is not as obvious as the first one. When originating inside your heart, the burst of action is other than Allah Azza wa Jal. This riya is, there is that burst, that original burst for Allah Azza wa Jal, this khafi type of shirk, but it is contaminated by this desire somehow to be seen by others. And to be seen by others can be manifested in so many ways. You know, every adult and maturing adult knows. And especially if you somehow have undertaken the path of struggle against your nafs, then you discover every day the extent of those hidden feelings and those hidden motives inside of you and me. So, here are some states or levels of riya that every and each Muslim on the path of ubudiyah must be conscious of. Every Muslim, as we mentioned yesterday, who is undertaking the moral challenge in pursuit of happiness must know and must watch for and against. Sometimes a person does a good act externally, in accordance to the law, in accordance to Shara'. But there is something inside. The person, for example, goes to ibadah and likes to be seen in ibadah, likes to be seen in salah. He or she inside, and he or she knows, and Allah before that. Others may not know. Most people don't know what people have inside. We don't know what people have inside. This is for you and me to assess yourself and myself, not to assess others. This is not intended for you and me to take it and then project it onto others. Oh, I know now what she's doing. I know now what he's not doing. If that's what you use this ilm for, then that is dangerous use of ilm. And then we have not gotten the point. This means for me and you to gauge and assess ourselves. So, if I like someone to see me in ibadah, or in the performance of a good action, like in teaching, or in learning, or in da'wah, or in an act of a charitable doing, my original motivation is Allah. But once someone sees me, it gives me more energy to do more of what I was doing. Subhanallah. If someone does not see me, if I'm not seen, I'm not exposed during this action, I am doing it still. My motivation still is Allah Azza wa Jal. But when others see me, then somehow I get more energy. That's a hidden aspect of Riyā. Subhanallah. Which is less serious than the previous one, of course. But it is Riyā. And to the extent of the existence of that Riyā inside my qalb, there will be less reward from Allah Azza wa Jal, if not punishment. There is a more hidden level of that Riyā. I am performing this action of salah, or of sawm, or of sadaqah, or of dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, or of da'wah to Allah Azza wa Jal, or of imparting ilm to others, or in learning ilm, and so on. And when people see me, whether they see me or they don't, my level of energy, alhamdulillah, is the same, is positive and the same. It does not re-energize me or over-energize me. But I feel I like it. I feel a sense of rejoice. I feel good when I am aware that someone is looking at me. Subhanallah. That's a more hidden level of Riyā. And that is Riyā. As a matter of fact, I may even go and perform, let's say if it comes to ibadah, I perform my ibadah and I insist that I do my best that no one sees me. And if they saw me, it does not energize me. But something inside is tickled. And I feel good and happy. Because they saw me. And if they didn't see me, I don't feel that delight and that pleasure and that rejoicing. Whether in salah, or sawm, or dhikr, or sadaqah, or da'wah, or teaching, or learning, anything that has to do with Allah Azza wa Jal. Do you think there is something more hidden than this? Yes, say our ulama rahimahumullah ta'ala, those whom Allah Azza wa Jal gave ilm of the batin, the ilm of the fiqh of the heart, of the qalb, and how to understand the qalb and know the qalb and polish the qalb, taken from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and how the Sahaba lived radiyallahu ta'ala anhum wa ardahum, and those who have been given also the ilm of the external fiqh as well, the fiqh of al-jawarih, if you will. They have, with the ilm that Allah gave to them and the alhamdulillah, the purity of heart that Allah Azza wa Jal bestowed upon them, they were able to see and express these things in such eloquent ways, in such eloquent means and simple ways also, rahimahumullah ta'ala. So they speak of another fourth level that is even more hidden. In this case, I would perform the action. My original motivation is Allah Azza wa Jal. Whether a cow sees me, or another human being sees me, or millions of good human beings see me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't produce any difference, neither in energizing me to do, nor in what I feel inside of my heart of relaxation and of comfort and of peace. But something happens outside of the realm of my action. For outside of the realm of my action, when the action is done and I'm somewhere else, and someone sees me and knows me, inside of me, says Al-Imam Al-Ghazali and others before him and after him, rahimahumullah ta'ala, I like him or her to show me an extra sense of respect. I'm not saying by this that people should disrespect other people or their ulama. No, you should always show respect and reverence to your ulama and to your teachers and to your fathers and mothers and colleagues. But what I mean by that is what is in his or her heart. What is in my heart. Do I expect someone to show me something extra? And if he or she doesn't, I feel that he or she has not given me my due right. And I feel something inside, something that either to the extent that inside of me I am angry at that person, or inside of me I feel discomforted. That's riya'un akhfa. Subhanallah. And thus, the presence of any of these contaminants, depending on their intensity, as you see, renders my action as either no action or highly diluted action, or partially diluted action. One of the old Salaf, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum wa ardahum, those whom Allah gave ilm and ma'rifah, he was asked to lead them in salah. He was offered to lead them in salah. Not the official imam. The official imam, he has to lead salah. Does lead salah. But he was offered to lead them in salah. And they insisted. He said, no way. I will not. Again, out of fear for any iota of lack of ikhlas inside of his or her heart. Let alone competing in terms of who leads, and designing and planning and plotting. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Or designing and planning and plotting as to who is president of this institution. وَمَا أَقْصُدُ إِلَّا النُّصْحَ لِي وَلِإِخْوَانِي يَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ. I seek by this only to advise myself first, and then my all brothers and sisters. For I truly do not want my actions to be no action. And I do not want to continue to see the actions, as was said earlier by Sheikh al-Masri, that the actions of this ummah continue to be no action. So we must watch this qalb. So he refused. He wouldn't lead salah. And then ultimately they insisted, and he went forward to lead salah, and he said, rahimahullah ta'ala, all right, if I lead you in this salah, by Allah, I will not lead you in the next one or in any one after that. And then the other one replied, look at this group of people. The other one replied, Wayhak, woe on you. Are you expecting to live until the next salah? ويحك أتأمل أن تعيش إلى صلاة العصر? Are you expecting to live until the next salah, صلاة العصر? In other words, ما أطول أملك. Oh, your aspirations, your hopes of living are very far stretched. You plan too far ahead. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Ikhlas is the essential ingredient, the essential quality of the qalb from which there comes that burst called the niyyah. That's the niyyah now. From which comes that burst that we call the niyyah, for the action to be an action, to be a action, and to be rewarded and accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal, and to contribute therefore to my pursuit of happiness in this dunya and in akhirah inshaAllah ta'ala, and therefore to continue safely my journey back home of ubudiyyah, back to Allah Azza wa Jal. There is a lot we can say about this condition of ikhlas, and about the rendering of the absence of ikhlas of the action to the rendering it no action.